Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at something foundational, really, in how organizations talk to the world. The press release, we often think of them as just, simple news updates, but they're actually pretty sophisticated tools. They're essential for getting news out, handling crises, and carefully building a brand story.
Exactly. And for you listening, the significance is huge. A modern press release, it's not just checking a box. It's a really versatile strategic thing. It can drive media coverage, seriously boost your search engine visibility, and it lets organizations talk directly to their audience, bypassing those traditional media filters sometimes. The whole history of the PR shows this amazing shift, right? From just a defensive tool for bad news to being absolutely vital in modern digital marketing.
Okay, let's unpack that. So, our mission today is to trace that whole journey from its surprising start in print, like actually delivered by hand, all the way to now, with multimedia releases built for search engines. And I think to really get its power, we have to go back to the very beginning, the moment it was invented. And this is where it gets really interesting for me, because the modern press release wasn't like created for some big product launch. No, it came out of a disaster. We're talking October 1906. There was this Pennsylvania Railroad train. It derailed violently near Atlantic City. Over 50 people died.
Yeah, a terrible tragedy. And that crisis, it was absolutely massive, and it basically became the birthplace for modern PR as we know it. The railroad had a PR rep, Ivy Lee, and he made a decision that was, well, pretty radical for that time. Back then, the usual playbook was secrecy, denial, or trying to spin the story, blame something else. Lee chose transparency.
Transparency in 1906. That sounds, well, it goes against everything we kind of assume about corporations back then.
It really did. Lee figured, correctly, that secrecy just breeds suspicion unless rumors run wild. So his revolutionary move was simple. Give journalists accurate facts, quickly. He sent out the straightforward statement, signed by the company, directly to the newspapers.
Wow. And that basic structure, that's essentially the blueprint we still use today, which is just fascinating. So beyond just being honest, what was it about the structure of Lee's statement that was so groundbreaking?
Well, he set up a format that journalists could immediately recognize and use. He pioneered 4 key things that are still standard. 1, a clear, factual headline summing things up. 2, accurate details about what happened. 3, direct quotes from company officials to give it that official stamp. And 4, critically, contact information so reporters could follow up.
Ah, okay, so it served 2 purposes at once, didn't it? It gave journalists ready-made content, saved them time, but it also let the railroad shape that initial story through being upfront and honest.
Precisely. That foundation controlling the narrative through transparency, it dictates so much of crisis communication strategy even now.
Right. Okay, so let's jump forward a bit through the 20th century. The basic format's there, but getting it out, that sounds like a real nightmare. The logistics must have been intense. You're talking typewriters, right? Making carbon copies, hoping they lined up, then physically mailing them or hand-delivering them, telegraph, maybe later fax machines. Ugh.
Oh, it was a serious grind, a huge amount of labor. And you couldn't just blast it out yourself, not easily. You had these big players, the wire services AP, UPI, acting as crucial gatekeepers. They were the middlemen. They took releases they deemed newsworthy and sent them out to their huge networks of newspapers and radio stations. And because of that, the tone had to be spot on. Factual, no fluff, objective. It needed to sound like real news.
Wait, let me just jump in there. If the tone had to be like journalism, does that mean the old press release was basically designed to look like a news story?
Exactly. It was almost like prepackaged news. The idea was it could be published with very little editing. It was all about serving the journalist's immediate needs.
Okay, but then, late 20th century, the game changer arrives. The internet. Suddenly all those physical bottlenecks just vanish. What used to take days, maybe weeks, to land in a newsroom, now it's there in seconds. Email. Poof. No more printing, no postage.
And that didn't just speed things up, it fundamentally democratized the whole flow of information. Online press releases became instantly searchable, permanent archives. All of a sudden, a small tech startup could use the same distribution channels as, say, General Motors. Plus, companies could post releases directly on their own websites, so the public could read them directly without waiting for the media. And organizations got total 247 control over when they released news.
Okay, so the delivery method totally changes. The structure must have had to adapt too, right? Let's look at the anatomy of a modern searchable PR. It still keeps that standard format journalists expect, yeah. Starting with the headline, which now needs to be really compelling, grab attention, and summarize everything in maybe 10, 15 words.
Absolutely. And right after that headline comes the lead paragraph. This is critical. If the headline hooks them, The lead has to reel them in. It needs to answer those core questions: who, what, when, where, why, right there in the first couple of sentences. You've got maybe 25 words to convince a busy journalist that this story is worth their time.
And that reinforces that classic inverted pyramid style, doesn't it?
It does, yes. The inverted pyramid is still vital, especially online where people scan. You put the most important newsworthy stuff right at the top. Then supporting details follow, in decreasing order of importance. It means an editor, if they're tight on space, can literally cut the story from the bottom up without losing the essential facts. It's efficient.
Okay, makes sense. Then below the lead, you've got the body copy expanding on the story. That's where you put quotes from key people, right? Add some data.
Exactly. Quotes add credibility and a human voice. Data provides evidence.
And what about that little paragraph at the end, the boilerplate? It seems kind of standard, but why is it still important?
The boilerplate. It's actually quite strategic, especially now. It's that standard bit about the company, who they are, what they do. It serves three main functions. One, consistent branding on every single release. Two, it provides immediate context, which can be legally important, especially for public companies. And three, it's really crucial for SEO. It gives search engines consistent, keyword-rich text about your organization every time you publish.
The SEO connection. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, moving fully into digital. Just text isn't always enough anymore, is it?
Yeah.
This is where multimedia comes in, images, video, infographics. How much does that really change the game for a press release?
Oh, massively. It turns a flat announcement into something dynamic, a real story. And crucially, you're giving journalists ready-to-use visuals. That dramatically boosts the chance they'll cover your story. Plus, it just helps people understand and remember the information better.
And the data on this is pretty stark, isn't it? I've seen stats like press releases with relevant images get something like 94% more views than text-only ones.
That's right. It's a huge difference.
And retention, people remember, 80% of what they see versus only 20% of what they read?
Exactly. Think about big launches, like, say, Tesla unveiling the new car. They don't just send text. They embed slick videos, detailed photos, maybe interactive graphics. They're basically handing journalists a ready-made multimedia package.
Yeah.
Makes their job easy, tells a better story.
Okay, so visuals are key. And that need for visibility leads us straight into search engine optimization, SEO. If you're putting this stuff online, you need people, journalists, customers, whoever, to find it through search. So what are the absolute must-haves for SEO in a modern press release? You mentioned three core things.
Yes, three main pillars. First, keyword optimization. You need to naturally weave relevant keywords into your headline, your subheadings, the main body text. This tells search engines what your news is actually about. Needs to feel natural, though, not stuffed. Second, metadata. This is the behind-the-scenes stuff. Crafting a good meta description, that little summary that shows up in search results, and a concise title tag, ideally under 60 characters. Both need keywords too.
Okay, keywords and metadata. What's the third?
Link building. This is where PR really connects with technical SEO strategy. You need to include links within the release, internal links pointing back to relevant pages on your own website, and maybe external links to credible sources, if appropriate. For search engines, links from press releases distributed on reputable platforms signal authority and relevance for your website. It's really valuable.
Got it. So we've built this optimized multimedia digital asset. Where are companies actually using these things today? Obviously product launches, but what else?
Oh, all sorts. Big corporate announcements, think mergers, acquisitions, executive changes where the exact wording needs to be precise and legally sound. And going right back to Ivy Lee, crisis communication. When something goes wrong, like a data breach, a well-crafted, fast press release is vital for transparency and taking control of the narrative.
In event promotion too, right? Getting the word out about conferences or webinars.
Definitely. And even with this 2047 digital world, when you send it, still matters strategically.
Wait, really? I might have thought with everything online, the exact timing isn't as critical. Why does it still matter? Are wire services still that dominant?
It's less about the wire services now and more about the journalist's workflow. You're not just publishing. You want your release to land in their inbox when they're actually looking for stories, not when they're swamped. So the general wisdom is Tuesday through Thursday, mid-morning to early afternoon, say 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. local time. You avoid the Monday morning pileup and the Friday afternoon wind down.
Okay, that makes sense. It's about hitting the sweet spot in their week. So beyond timing, what are those absolute bedrock best practices we need to keep hammering home?
Clarity. Always clarity. Cut the jargon, speak plainly. We talked about keeping the headline tight under 10 words if possible. And that lead paragraph, absolutely critical, answering the 5 W's in under, say, 25 words. And Fundamentally, is it actually news? You have to be honest with yourself. Is it timely? Is it relevant? Does it have credible sources? If it's just marketing fluff, don't waste journalists' time sending it as a press release.
Good point. And all this digital strategy and optimization leads to something impossible in the old days. Data. Measuring the impact. It's not just counting newspaper clippings anymore, is it?
Not at all. Now you can track everything.
Yeah.
Concrete metrics. How many media outlets picked up the story? Did website traffic spike after the release went out? How many times was it shared on social media? And you can go deeper. Click-through rates on the links in your release. How long people spent reading it online? Did it lead to signups or downloads?
And the really powerful thing about that data is you can adjust on the fly, right? You can see what's working, what's not, maybe which headlines resonate. That was unthinkable back when you just mailed things out.
Exactly. Real-time feedback. You can see which regions engage most, maybe even which specific journalists open the email. It allows for a much smarter strategy.
So wrapping this up, we've really traced quite an arc. From Ivy Lee's bold move with transparency back in 1906,
Yeah.
all the way to today's super optimized, multimedia, data-backed communication tool. Success today clearly hinges on adapting using SEO, visuals, measuring results.
Definitely. And the evolution isn't stopping. The future is already peeking through. We're starting to see things like AI-generated personalized content. Imagine AI tailoring the release's angle and language automatically for different audiences, journalists, investors, customers.
Wow, AI actually writing personalized versions. That's something.
It is. And think about immersive formats, virtual reality, VR experiences, embedded right into a release. Instead of just reading about a new factory, maybe you could take a quick VR tour directly from the link.
A VR press release.
Yeah.
Okay, mind blown a little. And audio's got to be part of it too.
Absolutely. We're going to see more voice-optimized PR, content designed specifically to be read out by smart speakers or consumed on audio platforms. The press release is moving from just being a document to being a dynamic, maybe even personalized experience.
Incredible. So the takeaway for everyone listening is really that continuous adaptation, embracing these new tools and approaches. That's how you make sure your message actually lands and cuts through all the noise out there.
Well, that's all the time we have for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.